Welcome to the Brickies podcast. I'm your host, Michael Brownie, and this week's podcast is the second time in a week that we get to do one, but this match is for Erith Town. It's not a game that wasn't covered in a little bit of controversy towards the end, which we will cover. I mean, we'll try to cover some of the things in and around the club as well, because it's been a bit of an indifferent week for the Brickies with losing a stand as well. So we'll try and cover a few things in the pod, try to get that up to date, and also we'll give a shout out to some of those youth teams that have been giving the awards out this week, because we do very well with our youth and we know it's growing and it's something that we are passionate about here at the Brickies. So it isn't just one thing we are passionate about, we're passionate about everything Brickies. Let's get straight into it. Let's talk straight away about the Erith game. Really good game. Had a little bit of everything. 3 goals, clean sheet. When we started the game, from my point of view, it felt like Erith wanted a fast start. They got going, had that really early chance where it went over the bar. It's not a night where I can remember Jamie Grossart doing much. I have to go through the game 3 or 4 times myself, obviously having to edit the game. But we grew into the game, and I didn't think we really created much until the goal. And it was just one of those nights where, as long as we got the first goal, I thought we were going to be fine. And we did, Asamoah really puts himself about when he goes up the top. And I think having someone like Mitch in the squad now gives him a little bit more of a free license when he's up there to go and run in, go and chest the ball or try and win it off players. And when a player sees him, they instantly put it down to, well, he's not going to beat me in the air, he's not going to do this. Because of his experience and him being in the league, it helps so much. And he's a fox in the box. He's cool, calm and collected in front of goal. And he still has pace, which is so amazing for a gentleman of his age. And at half-time, you thought, as long as we come out and we just keep it nice and solid at the back and keep pressing forward, I thought we would have been all right. And we got that second goal. Were there mistakes from Erith? I think the goalkeeper probably could have done better with catching the ball, but, you've got to be there to get it. And then the second goal is, them sort of self-exploding, but again we're pressing them, we're hitting them high, and it was nice to see a 4-4-2 out there really from the Brickies, which was almost dead and buried in this day and age, isn't it, a 4-4-2? And then we just went on corner straight away was the next goal. Swifty hanging in there and up, shades of it coming off his arm from the video probably, but the referee's got to count those things, and I don't think it's really made much of an impact. I think it's more come off his shoulder. It was just it was an all around performance. We saw lots of changes towards the end, and we saw some unsavoury scenes, which is probably something I can talk about now because I was very close to the incident. It was a young child that said something. We won't mutter what, but we will keep it short and sweet. Is that once the child did eventually go upstairs, it's all on camera. She's admitted to saying it, which is wrong. And Erith's chairman was right there, and he is a man of colour himself, and he said, I'm not happy with that. I'm this colour, and straight away the parent was trying to shout something at Hoyte, and Hoyte said it comes from the parents. Very, very good from the fans in the crowd, and Joe Boshi, who was there as well, very quickly got on it with the parent who was trying to say something to our player, and shut him down quickly. And the stewards then got involved, and we did get a photo of that person. It has been handed over. It will go to a referee's report. It will go to an investigation. But unfortunately for if it is found that that has been said, Erith will have to take a lot of repercussions, which is quite saddening to think that a good club like Erith, and it is very nice. The pitch was in good condition. They've got a nice stand going on there. It feels very enclosed. They've got all the right ingredients at that club, and I know that they are community engaged as well, which is saddening to think that the individual hit there has not helped themselves cover themselves in glory and not really gone, I'm really sorry that's been said. We won't be having that. We'll talk to the child. They've sort of like ushered their child in and not really said anything. I'm a dad myself, and if one of my children ever did anything like that, I'd probably lose my mind, because it doesn't come from me. It doesn't come from anywhere. So yeah, it's not a very good look. But Erith, they've done really well. They got into quickly. they're working they've worked closely with us, and I think for us as a club, we move on swiftly from it. And I know the other piece of news that people want to talk about is the stand being removed. As much as I have information on it, it's not really something I can really talk about. All I know is that someone showed up on Saturday, said this and that about money owed, and I know that we, from what I gather, I wasn't at the club at the time, that money was paid via the third party. I think everyone will make their assumptions of who it is. I won't be naming that person again because I don't know them. I wasn't at the club. And they did subsequently remove the scaffolding. On a gooder note, though, or a better note, we have had a few people get in touch and say that they would like to hopefully restore it, which would be absolutely lovely and crazy to think that out of this something good will come. If they want to build a gantry, be my guest. I'd love a gantry. And yeah, I think that just sort of shows a little bit of the community at the club. And if anyone is interested in anything like that, please do get in touch. This is what the pod's about, to give you fans a sort of an update in and around the club and give everybody the sort of the know-how. I know that there's another bar coming out soon. And hopefully, it gets up and running. And we've got a tournament coming up for the youth, and there's really good things going on in our youth. If you go on, I said I was good to shout out, and so if you go onto the club's social media or onto the club website, you will be able to look at some of the stars of the week or the managers' reports. Thank you very much to all the managers that do the reports. We get them, or you tag us in them on Instagram or on anywhere that you tag us, and we always take those reports, put them online for you, and things like that. We have got the JPL that's just open, so if you want to try and get your kids into the JPL, that's just opened. Contact Margie and give him all of the information, and hopefully he can push you forward. That's really it from me on the side of things on my review for the week and all the things coming forward. We have got a massive game against Herne Bay at the weekend. Tickets are available. Make sure you get yourselves on there. Go and grab them early. Get through the queues quickly. Get yourself into the bar. Grab a pint. Grab some food. Get outside. And make sure you are backing us in a Kent derby against Herne Bay this Saturday. You're going to hear from Dave and Rob again. And also, I got Jacob on the pod straight after the game. So that's a really good one to go through. And obviously, you'll hear the manager's view. Always comment. Let us know what you think. You'll hear 3 of those reviews now, followed by the manager. And thank you for your time. Thank you for all of the nice reviews we've had from the people who have messaged me or messaged the club about the podcast. Up the Brickies.
Michael Brownie here for the Brickies podcast. An excellent 3-0 away win tonight. I'm joined by Jacob, who is co-comms with me tonight. Jacob, what did you think of that?
Brilliant response from, it was Saturday, wasn't it? Yep, sorry. Brilliant response from Saturday's loss. It was difficult defeat on Saturday, but Reece got the lads. I mean, you could see from the first minute that they were, out there intending to get the win, and I've got that, and another clean sheet as well, which has been a rarity this season. I believe that's our 8th for the season, clean sheet in all competitions. So,
and Derek Asamoah, 44 years old, getting those goals, and then it seems like Swifty got the last one as well. But the game, it was a game we had to grow in. Don't you agree? Yeah,
I mean, it's always difficult, no matter where you are in the league, coming to an away game to a team that probably won't get relegated, but they're fighting for every point just to make sure. And they did make it difficult for us at times. It was a bit of a battle out there, a bit physical. And, I mean, you have to be... I'm not a footballer, but the footballers out there today had to be 100%.
And as you're a fan, I know that obviously I'm part of the club and I'm a fan, but you're a traditional fan here at this club. And how happy are you with the team going into these last run of games and the form they're in?
Yeah, I think that loss last weekend was a bit of a blip, but you could see this evening that the right man's in charge of the club. He's got the right players. He's bringing in a couple of his own players as well. He inherited the squad from the previous manager, and he's just making his little tweaks to the team, and you can see that with each passing game. And of course, I mean, some people forget that you only train twice a week with these players, So it does take a little bit longer to, get your philosophy and your style across. So yeah, I'm really pleased. Still in the playoffs, and hopefully we'll still be there by the end of the season. I'm confident.
Well, that's it. That's it for this part of the Brickies podcast. Obviously, I hope you join us again, Jacob. But Jacob, I just want to say as well, thank you for all you do with the clubs. I know you do everything around it. You join me on comms and you're doing the kit. And so thank you very much, Jacob. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
A couple of days after Tuesday night, it was great to see the Brickies back to winning ways, really dominating and controlling the game for the full 90 minutes. Proper standout performance for Antonio. Gave us a real threat down the left with some quality deliveries, and he wasn't afraid to take players on, really attacked their fullbacks just in general down both wings with Jaden and Henry as well. Just more looked like the Brickies of old and the dominating performance that we've come to see. Really got in at their defence, pressed a lot higher, and really controlled the ball a lot better. It was a much better performance, and one hopefully we can carry on into the end of the season and into the playoffs to get some confidence. It was great as well. Thought all the subs came on, made a real impact, and it's good to see a healthy squad all challenging each other. Made some changes from Saturday, freshened things up, and but the lads that came in, Dell doesn't show any sign of slowing up. Probably still got another 44 years left in him, with his legs and his goal scoring ability. So yeah, really pleasing, really enjoyable night. Great seeing just some smiling faces at the end. It's that feel good factor, and power of positivity is going to help us through. The memory of Eastbourne's well and truly gone now. A couple of home games against teams who've been on some half-decent runs. Home Bay will be difficult, but probably should have won away from home. Thanks for the stream for that one. But yeah, no, this one should be good to get back at home. Surface has been looking really good in the last few weeks. Still can't believe that the Crowborough game was called off when you look at some of the pitches that we've played on recently. So let's pack out Woodstock and let's really get behind the Brickies.
Hello Brickies fans, it's Rob Barnard here with some thoughts on last night's game away at Erith. Excellent result. It's always a tough place to go. And in reality, it's a non-league ground setup that I quite like, to be honest. The place just brings back bad memories for me. We went there last season, again on a Tuesday night, on the back of probably, my happiest Sittingbourne memory, beating Southend United away. We're still pushing for the league title, desperate for the 3 points. We conceded a last-minute penalty last season. Ended up drawing 1-1, lost Jack to a really nasty injury. I mean, I think I can still hear Jack scream, to be honest with you, every time I go to that ground. So to say I was looking forward to it, especially after Saturday, would have been a bit of a lie, to be honest. It's a tight pitch. They're always a pretty competitive side, and they've had some pretty decent results recently. Drawn at home with a pretty decent Deal side. Another draw against Sevenoaks, who, these last couple of months have been pretty good, as we found out a while back at Woodstock. And another draw against Jersey, who are obviously on our coattails, chasing us down for a playoff spot. So, despite what the league table says, it's not an easy place to go. And let's face it, I think Eastbourne proved that at this point of the season, league positions don't count for a lot if you're not up for it on the night. So, Reece, in his interview, he said it was a pretty professional performance, and I think he got it absolutely bang on. That's exactly what it was. I thought, for first half hour, it was pretty even, to be honest. But as soon as we got that first goal, I thought that settled us down, and we were pretty good value from then on, to be honest. Delighted for Dell back in the team last night. He looks like the rest has done him good. He looked up for it. He looked quick. He looked sharp. He took his 2 goals, especially the second one, really well. And then the third, Ben's goal, obviously, that swiftly erased any memories of his red card on Saturday. And after that, I thought it was pretty comfortable. Really, really liked the look of Antonio at left back last night. Obviously, was a bit worried with Bags being out injured. But yeah, the kid played really, really well, set 2 goals up, linked up really, really well with Henry down that left-hand side. So, yeah, no, it was good. Really, really good. There's been some other news this week, obviously. We've all heard about the dismantling of one of the side stands at Woodstock Park. How do I feel about it? I mean, I think firstly, I feel really sorry for the volunteers who have worked so hard to make it look more like a football stand and less like the bundle of scaffolding that it was. I think the club's handled it pretty well, to be honest. I think they've handled themselves with dignity in putting out the statement, and I think it was important that they've done that. What can I say about the guy who's basically stolen from the club? I think, to be honest, as time goes on, his true colours are shining brightly through, which is a shame. He should have always been welcomed back as a friend at our club after all the good times he's given us. And, Southend that I mentioned earlier, that's certainly up there with him. But sadly, I don't think that will be the case. Call it what you like, it's theft, it's deception. Quite honestly, this season, I'll be honest, from a footballing point of view, I was glad when he left. And to be honest now, with hearing things like this coming out, I'm even gladder. We've got a lot of good people at our football club, and he won't be remembered as one of them, unfortunately. I think it's a stark reminder to be careful that, when someone says that they're a man of integrity, that they're a man of their word, that they love your football club, they aren't always what they seem to be, are they? Lastly, bit of a down point for last night, obviously. Racism reared its ugly head again at last night's game. Gavin Hoyt was subjected to some abuse from the main stand at the ground. It's sad in this day and age that those things are still happening, and I thought the ref dealt with it pretty well on the night. I thought Erith, from what we could see, seemed to deal with it pretty quickly in removing the individual concerned. As it was reported to the ref, I'm pretty sure that will leave Erith with some questions to answer, but I think it's important to remember the views of one idiot, and it is idiotic. It doesn't reflect on the club as a whole, and I've always found the people at Erith pretty decent, to be fair. On the subject of Gavin Hoyt, I've got a question for you, Brownie. You haven't been with us all season, but in the time you've been here, which players impressed you the most? We're getting near the business end of the season. I'm sure at some point in the next few weeks the voting slips will be coming out for the player of the season. For me at the moment, it's Gav Hoyt. Played mainly right back, but he's played centre half, he's played left back. And wherever he's played, he's been so consistent for me. I think he's just been outstanding this season, and I think he's played the most games out of all the players this season as well. Anyway, let me know what you think.
Oh wow, Rob was putting me on the spot there. I think for me, having to come almost halfway through a season, and seeing one set of a team and then seeing another. Firstly, for me, I want to say that the two squads are completely different, and the vibe here is a stronger vibe, more together, like a band of brothers, than the previous club I was with, where they're all my friends. The fans are my friends, the players are all my mates, and that's the first thing I want to say about, obviously the place I left. But the difference here is I think there's a bit more of a warhorse mentality. And that's not knocking my previous employers neither, because again, they're all my mates, and especially the fans. We still speak quite regularly. But player that's impressed me the most. It's hard. It's hard. I think the player that has impressed me the most is Jack Stevenson. Man of the club, probably one of the first players when I walked through the door to give me a massive welcome. Told me that he was looking forward to working with me and stuff, and all the players said that as well. But he just screams Sitting Bull for me. He puts his body on the line every week. He's probably the first name on the team sheet. He's just an honest player. He scores your goals, defends well. It's just a top all around guy as well. And off the pitch, obviously, I get to see a point of the players that's something you don't get to see, which is really nice as well. And have some great interactions. Yes, I've got his names wrong, and I've got a few of the boys' names wrong. And please forgive me for my spelling mistakes, everybody. I make them all the time. But there's some honourable mentions in there. Joe Boshi. Everyone loves Joe, and I want to wish him the best. I'm trying to get him to come on a game and do comms, or just do some commentary one day. So it'd be great to have Bosch with us. The manager I really like Reese. I know it's not a player. Really good, really welcoming, good banter, really calm person. Joe, the assistant, Pooks, goalkeeper coach. But for me, it's Jack. Swifty probably up there as well since he's come in. Great performances. Hoyty, great. Asamoah, can't say much more than Asamoah. Harvey Smith, when given a chance. Foxley, D. I could run through the whole team. Bags, I've really got to know Bags in the past few weeks as well. Captain, such a great gentleman. But for me, it's Jack all day long. Jack is the player I would say has impressed me the most. I already knew a little bit about him, but he just goes under the radar. So Jack, and a massive shout out to Jamie Grossart as well, has come in, and he keeps playing hard. And I know he's made a couple of mistakes, but he keeps putting himself back in the sticks and keeps being brave.
Gaffer, a good bounce back for the Brickies here and a 3-0 victory on the road. What are your thoughts?
I thought it was a really 90-minute good performance, to be fair. I thought we went in with a lot of belief and confidence. We had a good chat after Saturday, obviously. And I thought it was just a professional performance all round.
Yeah, it was a game that we had to grow into, though. Erith did start well, we'll give him credit there. And it was the 44-year-old that sprung into life. And how happy are you that it was him that got it going tonight after being out for a few days?
Yeah, I think like we know what good Derek gives you, to be fair. And like I said, we've got some real firepower now. I thought Mitch and Derek worked needlessly up top, really hard. And it worked well in spells. Like you said, I think it took a while to get into the game, but once we got into the game, I thought we controlled it pretty well.
It was only 1-0 at half time as well. Did you when you went in at half time, was you still curious? Well, not curious. I can't remember the exact word here, but still trying to be I'm not starting with my words, but think about how they were going to come out for the second half.
Yeah, of course. We knew they was going to put it up first 10. We knew they was going to come out first 10-15 minutes, sort of on fire. And I just said we got to start well. We've got to do the right things. First 10-15 minutes, let's stretch them a little bit, get them deep. And I thought we'd done that, and then once the game opened up a little bit and we got on the ball and we moved it, I thought we moved it quite very well today. I thought Antonio and Henry worked really well today. I thought Jaden and Gav worked really well. And it was just pleasing that we went on from there. Because games before, I think we've only been doing 30 minutes of good time, 40 minutes of good performances. But today was pretty much 90 minutes.
And towards the end, I know the referee came over and told you that we won't say exactly what was said, but a racial slur was said to Gavin by a young lady, and then had a parent try and pipe up. It sort of puts a bad taste on the end of the night, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course it does. I mean, fair play to Gav. He wanted to stay on and he wanted to play through it. I suppose not to show that it really affected him. I mean, it's very poor, of course. Whatever's been said, I think is disgusting, and it should really be dealt with in the right manner.
Yeah, Erith have already said that they will be dealing with it. I've already spoke to the chairman himself, and they are going to deal with it. So very
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
They got straight to it. Few other things going on here. Joe Boshi is injured, and apparently he won't be returning for the rest of the season.
No, unfortunately, Bochi's had a bit of a setback. Had his scan, and his scan come back with a grade 3 tear. So, unfortunately for him and for us, he's out for the rest of the season.
And then Gossart going down there in the end. Was your heart in your mouth thinking about having to get another goalkeeper in?
Yeah, to be honest, I was pretty. Couldn't believe it at the time. I asked him how he was, and he said, "No, he's fine." So I said to him, "Get up then." But yeah, no, look, I think Jamie was outstanding today as well.
And lastly, I know the fans were here today, and we want them to come in at the weekend, but they're going to be looking forward to Herne Bay. And any words of encouragement as Herne Bay join us at the weekend for a Kent derby? Yeah,
look, Derby's home game. Nothing changes really. I expect 3 points at home. It's a home game. That's just how I am. I want my home games to be maximum points, and if we can take what we did today into Saturday, I think we'll give ourselves a good chance.
Thank you very much.